We open with an enlightening quote from Epictetus, the Greek Stoic philosopher. Born a slave, Epictetus rose to be one of the most influential thinkers of his time. His words still echo today, a testament to the timeless wisdom he imparted. He once said, "Let silence be your goal for the most part. Say only what is necessary and be brief about it." A profound thought, isn't it? Keep this quote in mind as we delve into why listening is more beneficial than speaking. Humans by nature love to talk about themselves. This is a universally acknowledged truth. We are all the protagonists of our own stories, and our personal experiences, thoughts, and feelings form the narrative that we are eager to share. We find joy in sharing our adventures, our successes, and even our hardships. This isn't necessarily a bad thing. After all, sharing is a fundamental part of human connection. However, the problem arises when we become so engrossed in our own narrative that we forget to truly listen to others. In conversations, we often find our minds wandering, not to the words being spoken by the other person, but to our own thoughts and responses. We become so focused on preparing our next statement, our next story, that we miss the essence of what is being shared with us. We are physically present in the conversation, but mentally we are elsewhere. This tendency to focus on our own words rather than the words of others leads to less meaningful conversations. It creates a dynamic where conversations become a competition of stories, each person trying to outdo the other with their tales. We end up speaking more about gladiators, horses, sports, food and drink, and other commonplace stuff, rather than delving into meaningful, thought-provoking topics. Furthermore, we often find ourselves talking about others, indulging in gossip and judgment. We compare ourselves to others, pointing out their flaws while highlighting our own strengths. This, too, detracts from the authenticity and depth of our conversations. Epictetus, the ancient Greek philosopher, once said, "In your conversation, don't dwell at excessive length on your own deeds or adventures." These words, although centuries old, still hold relevance today. They serve as a reminder that while sharing is important, so is listening. So the next time you find yourself in a conversation, try to be more aware. Listen more, speak less. Focus on the words of others, not just your own. Let go of the urge to always share your experiences and instead allow others to take the spotlight. This tendency to focus on our own words often leads to less meaningful conversations. But remember, it's never too late to change that narrative. The Stoics had clear views on speaking and listening. They embraced the art of conversation, but with an emphasis on listening rather than speaking. A guiding principle of Stoic philosophy is to focus on what is within our control, and our words, our silence, our ability to listen, these are all within our power. The Stoics were not fans of idle chatter. They saw it as a distraction, an unnecessary indulgence that often led to gossip, blame, and complaining. These, they believed, were not productive uses of our time or our words. Instead, they encouraged us to speak only when necessary, and to make sure that what we say is meaningful. Epictetus, one of the most celebrated Stoic philosophers, advised us to be brief in our conversations and to refrain from dwelling excessively on our own deeds or adventures. He cautioned that while we might take pleasure in recounting our exploits, others may not derive the same joy from hearing about them. The Stoics believed that when we talk too much about ourselves, we run the risk of becoming self-absorbed. We lose sight of the world around us and the people in it. We disconnect from others. We become performers in our own stories rather than participants in a shared experience. Stoicism teaches us to value silence as much as speech, to listen more than we talk, to resist the urge to fill every silence with our own voice. Because it is in listening that we learn, that we connect on a deeper level with others, and that we cultivate empathy and understanding. Marcus Aurelius, another prominent Stoic philosopher, advised us to speak only when we believe it is just, and to do so with kindness, modesty, and sincerity. This is not just about controlling our words, but also about controlling our attitudes and intentions. There's a difference between speaking to be heard and speaking to contribute, between speaking for recognition and speaking for connection. So the next time you find yourself in a conversation, remember the Stoic stance on speaking. be mindful of your words and the space you occupy with them. Listen more, speak less, and when you do speak, make it count. Because as the Stoics remind us, speaking more than necessary often leads to self-absorption and disconnect from others. Listening, on the other hand, can lead to deeper connections and understanding. So let's delve into this a little further. You see, when we truly listen, instead of waiting for our turn to speak, we open ourselves up to a world of learning. We gain insights into another person's thoughts, feelings, and experiences. This is not just about absorbing information, it's about broadening our horizons and deepening our understanding of the world around us. By immersing ourselves in the act of listening, we also cultivate empathy. We're not merely hearing words, we're understanding the emotions behind them. We're stepping into another's shoes, appreciating their perspective. This empathy fuels connection, fostering a sense of shared humanity. Listening also paves the way for more meaningful conversations. When we're focused on the speaker, we're more likely to ask thoughtful questions, delve deeper into the topic, and engage in a more substantial dialogue. These enriching exchanges can be intellectually stimulating and emotionally rewarding. They can spark new ideas, challenge our beliefs, and perhaps even change our perspectives. Moreover, listening gives us the chance to pause, to reflect, to be present. It's a break from the constant chatter of our own thoughts and the incessant need to express ourselves. It's an opportunity to simply be, to appreciate the beauty of silence and the wisdom it can offer. And let's not forget, when we listen, we're giving a gift to the speaker. We're acknowledging their worth, validating their feelings, and showing them that they matter. This can be incredibly empowering for the speaker and can strengthen the bond between both parties. So what does all this mean? Well, it suggests that listening is not a passive act. It's an active, engaging, and rewarding process. It's an art that requires practice, patience, and a genuine interest in others. But the rewards, they're immeasurable. And the Stoics, they were onto something. By advocating for more listening and less speaking, they were promoting a more mindful, empathetic, and connected way of living. When we listen more than we speak, we create space for deeper connections. And isn't that what we all yearn for? To feel connected, understood, and valued? Listening, it seems, is a key that can unlock these doors. Listening is an action that speaks louder than words. This statement might seem counterintuitive at first, but when you ponder over it, you realize its profound truth. When we listen, we are not merely being passive recipients of information. We are actively demonstrating respect and concern for the person speaking. We are showing that we value their perspective and their experience, that we are willing to set aside our own thoughts and ideas to truly hear theirs. Listening, in its purest form, is an act of humility. It acknowledges that we don't have all the answers, that we still have much to learn. It's an open invitation for growth and wisdom. Listening allows us to absorb new ideas, different viewpoints, and fresh insights that we might not have come across otherwise. It's a path to broaden our horizons, to challenge our assumptions, and to deepen our understanding of the world around us. But there's more to listening than just personal growth. By listening, we are also contributing to the growth of others. When we listen, we provide a safe space for the speaker to express their thoughts and feelings. We validate their experiences and make them feel seen and heard. This, in turn, encourages them to share more, to explore their thoughts more deeply, and to gain clarity on their own ideas and beliefs. Listening is also a powerful tool for building connections. It fosters empathy, understanding, and mutual respect, the cornerstones of any meaningful relationship. When we listen, we show the other person that they matter to us, that their words have an impact, that their voice is worthy of our attention. This strengthens the bond between us, making our relationship stronger and more fulfilling. In essence, listening is a form of communication in itself. It's a way of saying, I hear you, I understand you, I value you. Without uttering a single word, we send a powerful message of respect, acknowledgement, and appreciation. By listening more, we become better communicators, friends, and companions. So the next time you find yourself in a conversation, remember, listening is an action, an action that has the power to transform your conversations, your relationships, and your life. Listening more and speaking less is a challenge, but one worth pursuing. Habits, especially those deeply ingrained in our social interactions, can be tough to change. We're wired to share, to express, to tell our stories. And there's nothing wrong with that. But the balance, the sweet spot, lies in knowing when to speak and when to simply listen. Imagine the richness of a conversation where we truly hear what the others are saying, instead of just waiting for our turn. It's like opening a window to another perspective, another life, another world. And isn't that what conversations are supposed to be? A bridge between minds, an exchange of thoughts, a meeting of souls. So how do we do it? How do we tip the scales toward listening? It starts with a conscious decision. In your next conversation, make a deliberate choice to listen more. Observe the urge to jump in, to share your anecdote, to add your 2 cents. Notice it, but don't act on it. Remember, it's not about zipping your lips and becoming a silent statue. It's about giving space, opening up to the words of others, and responding with thoughtfulness and relevance. We might stumble, we might falter, but every moment of genuine listening is a step forward, a step towards richer, deeper, and more meaningful interactions. Remember, the goal isn't to be silent, but to listen more and speak only what is necessary. Let's make our conversations more meaningful and fulfilling.